gonna turn the undead. Yeah, you heard what I said. We're gonna put them to bed. Rain strike on their heads. The ground we tread, turning red, we keep pushing ahead. The goddess of the moon, eh? Yeah, she goes by saloon, eh? Gonna fight all the ghoulies while the bards play their tune, eh? And if you squeal, I'll drop the heel and get you back in the field. Well, I'm just out here trying my best, but my team folk got that I need a long rest. How to keep them from dying if anyone's guess. Will we ever finish this quest? Oh, yeah. In the jewel of the north, the ninjas are making force. Zombies attacking in force. I'm out of mana, of course. We'll have to smite to end the fight, but we'll sleep soundly tonight. Draculich flying in. How are we gonna win? We don't know where to begin. Things are looking so grim. You'll have to deal. I'm out of heels. Guidance, please take the wheel. Well, I'm just out here trying my best, but my team folk got that I need a long rest. How to keep them from dying if anyone's guess. Will we ever finish this quest? Oh, well. Yeah, dying. No time to cry. Real it's life. We'll get you back in the fight. Well, I'm just out here trying my best. But my team folk got that I need a long rest. How to keep them from dying if anyone's guess. Will we ever finish this quest? I don't know.
Hey, the music stops. That's my cue. There we go. Hey, I'm here. I probably need to turn my mic down a little bit. That's probably going to be better for everybody. Maybe. Or maybe you just adjust your volume. Hello, everyone. My name is Gaarawarr. He who answers lots of questions and makes lots of guides. 90 of them currently active over on the Idle Champions Reddit wiki. So if you're looking for information, it's there. It's there. You know what? I forgot that light. There we go. That's probably better. So, You know what? I feel like that needs to go away. Just realizing my camera is not doing what it's supposed to do right now. No, that's cameras. Technology, folks. Technology. Why can't it just read my mind and do exactly what I want it to do? All the time. All the time. Sad. There it is. I was like, I know you're trying to chroma key me and there's no green screen. There we go. That's better. Apologies. So, if you were here yesterday, you probably saw a different show than this. This is Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions. It says it right up there. Yesterday was specifically Gaarawarr's Guide to Idle Champions. I know that sounds the same. It's not. Here at Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything, hashtag GG2E. Basically, you ask questions and I answer them the entire show. I will occasionally cover some topics. Like today, we'll probably talk about Pirate Chef Crawl and the Epic Champs of Renown a little bit. Probably a very minor amount, because based off all the questions I saw coming in during the last stream with Margaret, who's always wonderful, there's going to be a lot of questions. So, yeah. So for everybody asking, and this seems to be something that happens repeatedly, how do I enter the code? You go to the shop in your game, wherever that is in your UI. It's up here in the top left for me. And then you find this unlock a locked chest button. It exists everywhere. And then you put the code in. And then you get a chest. Look at that. That's how it works, folks. Something else we'll do today is probably open a bunch of chests. Because I do this thing where I save mine up for events. I don't recommend that for new players. This is just me being specific. When you've played the game for 3.5 years, you learn to make your own informed decisions, which is hopefully what you're going to learn to do today while watching the show. Do I have? No, I don't. Yeah, so let's go over here. I'm like, do I have music playing? No, I don't have music playing. Let's unmute. And yeah, okay, yeah, all right. This was a new addition. We didn't talk about this yesterday. This just came in recently. It's on all platforms. It's a jukebox. It's got the songs from Bardic Inspiration, the Twitch show, on it. But this is Bardic Inspiration Volume 1, the album. You can buy it on Steam and the Epic Game Store. And you get high-quality files, so not just the in-game files. Like, you get high-quality. It's both the lyrical versions and the instrumental versions. Accessible to you. I need that to go down. There we go. Pretty cool. All right. What am I doing right now? Oh, I'm just gem farming. All right. Well, let's throw Crawl in. That'll slow my gem farm down a little bit, but we'll put him in his pirate outfit. So when you get a skin, if you threw that Yar skin in, open up the champion once you get to them and once you unlock them. Click on the little mask, and it's going to show you all your skins available. I've got Krampus Crawl, which was a gift from CNE to everyone that signed up for the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. A couple years back. Mastermind Crawl is neat, but I don't have that one. It comes in a pack. The skin is not $55. There's an entire pack that this comes in with lots of stuff, and that's why it's $55. Pirate Chef Crawl. There we go. With what I have dubbed Clingy the Crab hanging on in the back there. I imagine his motivation is, I will avenge my family. Yeah. So let's hop into the chat, folks. Let's hop into the chat. Remember, I am, you're asking the questions in chat. Our wonderful moderators are over here today. At the moment, it's Sasha, are pulling the questions for me. So if you don't answer it right away, that doesn't mean you got to ask again. As long as it's something that is relevant for me to answer, me as a player of the game and maker of guides, not as a developer or customer support. I am neither of those things. They will put it over here and I will answer it. I will try to get to it. Yesterday, in the hour at the end of Gaarawarr's Guide to Idle Champions, the hour that we did Q&A, I answered 93 questions in an hour. So I don't know how many we're going to do today. We got 2 hours of Q&A. We're going to dive in. And then I'm tag teaming. I'm pulling a Beetle and Grim today. Tag teaming out in an hour and, 40 minutes? I'm going to tag team out, and Mars is going to come in. I'm the dwarf in that analogy. And then at the end of his, I'm going to tag team back in. I'm going to do a little front flip, land, stun everybody. Yeah. I don't know if that's the way that works. Sounded good, though. Ziv, hey, I'm new to the game. Welcome. You and everybody else. Should I open the chest given with the login bonus right away, or is it based on your level? Nah, use it. Nah, use it. So there are some vagaries with how much gold you get out of certain chests, like regular silver chests. Well, any silver chests. That is usually based on the level you're on, but to be honest, it's rare that you're using that for the gold that's in them anyway. Usually you just need the gear out of them. So get your gear. Get your gear. I'm coughing already. I'm going to run out of that water, I can already tell. Niscus. There are chests that show opened shiny card 02 at the bottom. How does that work? So I don't have any to demonstrate, but usually what you're saying is when you go to open like a bunch of them, it says shiny 2. So that means it was probably part of the giveaway. It's probably part of the crawl thing. Or the Epic Store thing, but they also happen that way. What it means is in that group of chests, so say the 16 chests that you got for each character, you are guaranteed to get 2 shinies. That's a big deal because shinies drop at a rate of 1 in 1,000 chests, and there's no bad luck protection there. So there's no pity time or anything. So they're giving you 2 automatically. So as you're running through that group of chests, you're going to get 2 shinies automatically. So that's a great bonus. Shinies multiply the power of everything coming out of that slot by 50%. So whatever that item is gets a 50% bonus, and it just gets better over time because the number that you're multiplying it by goes up, not because the bonus gets bigger. Is it possible to, Choppa, I'm getting to your question. See what I did there? But there's a lot of puns in my show, folks. Get ready. Is it possible to pull shiny equips from silver Electrum chests? Yes. All chests that drop gear can drop shinies. Mr. Soul Seeker, what does the yellow-black bar at a champion level mean if you have leveled champion until he has no upgrades left? So this is a visual bug down here. Sometimes, like this, if it's fully leveled up, that means that it's like the yellow. It means that it's fully leveled up. So, like if I'm, that was a dumb answer, Gaarawarr. If you're only part way to an upgrade, it will show as. Can I just give me just like one? Give me just one. See how the yellow fills in slowly here on Talon? It's telling you your progress to the next upgrade. I highly recommend not putting 1 point in things at a time, or even 10. I recommend switching this up to upgrade and only leveling up when you get that upgrade, because those little itty bitty bumps, it's like the little tiny chips at the bottom of the back. Who wants that? I want a whole chip. Give me a whole chip. So level up and get the whole chip. So when you're at soft cap, which is what is represented by this circle with a line through it, this is just indicating that there's nothing else. I mean, you've already got all your upgrades. Psycho Alice, what guide of yours explains how to max out your champions? The circle with a line through it. There is no need for a guide for that. It's literally straightforward as saying you just got to keep leveling them and keep earning favor. Like, that's literally what determines it. I have so much favor in this campaign. This is a Sword Coast campaign. I have 4.79 E60 Torm's favor. That's a lot of favor. That's more than I really need. So I can soft cap characters really quickly. But basically, it's just get more gold. The more gold you get, the quicker you can get here, right? You're going to get there eventually. It's not a race. You'll get there. Where are we at? Do I need to increase click damage to boost familiars? Borver, yes. Yes. Familiars are doing click damage, so if you don't level up click damage, they don't do anything. Or they're not doing any damage. But here's the thing. Click damage is only relevant until the level you have it at. How do I want to say this? I did that backwards. Click damage is only relevant up to the point where the level it is at is equal to or greater than this, right? So if you're ever at, like, mine says, this is horrible because I can't really show this off very well. Mine says 351 click damage level right now, but I'm at level 192. So my clicks are killing everything instantly. If I were suddenly at 352, so one level above where my click damage is, my clicks would start, they would probably still be killing instantly for a level or two, and then they would stop. So once your area that you're at up here in your adventure at the top right is equal to or greater than your click damage level, stop putting points in click damage. The familiars you can leave out there, or you can put them on your ultimate bar, or you can do something else with them. Clicking still does slow champions down a bit, but ultimately the point of this game, you use click damage to speed through kind of the areas that you've already mastered in terms of power, like you're too strong for those. Gets you through those quicker, so you can get to the point where your champions are the ones killing things, which is the point of the game. Your champions are supposed to kill things. Yeah. I think I made that longer than it needed to be, but it is what it is. Jason finally made it to the Dritz quest. What should I expect from my first quest to level 150? So unlocking Dritz, you're down a champion because an NPC version of him sits in the middle of the formation. So expect it to be harder than it would normally be with 9 champions, because you only get 8. Outside that, I don't feel like the Dritz variant was super difficult. One way to test if you're ready for it is to go to the free play version, right, of that adventure. Overdue Rendezvous, Underdeep Cartography. Try to use the formation you would use when unlocking him and just leave that center place blank. You could test it that way, or you can just jump in and do it. The nice thing about a campaign variant is you're not losing anything but time trying it out. Really, I think your limiter there is really going to just be favor. So as long as you've got a decent amount of favor, it shows as easy or /green, you're probably fine. When you get to later evergreen unlocks, they're far more challenging in terms of what you have to do with the boss. So, also, I have a guide for that on Reddit. I'm going to say that a lot today. I have a guide for that. I need it on a shirt. Instead, I've got my, if I can get the beard out of the way, got my nice ampersand shirt going on today. My beard is too long. I got to stop wearing shirts with stuff on it because my beard hides it. I'm new to the game. Dayteris, join the club. There's lots of new people here today. It's a good time to start. I just completed one adventure, but click in continue. How can I complete and start another? So when you go to complete an adventure, I mean, we'll just do this. So when you've gone as far as you want to go, or as far as you can go, and you complete, it kicks you back out through this really cool finishing screen that scrolls up from the campfire where champions are relaxing and about to get a long rest. Gives you all your stats. You get back out to the campaign map. Once you're on the campaign map, you just, you click on one of these quest hubs. All of these little I guess they're inns. I don't know what they're supposed to be. Inns are little quest hubs. And then move to the next adventure and start the next adventure. Whichever that may be. But if you're playing through this in order, like I said, I recommend doing these top story level adventures and skipping these variants for now when you're in the main campaign. Also, there's an event going on right now called the Running. So if you click down here at the bottom, if you're out on the Sword Coast and you're through the tutorial, you should probably, if you've got the tokens for it, which it shows you up here, you should probably be over here doing the running. Like I should probably be doing some of the running. Let's do a Shaka free play instead. And then that's how you do it. You just click on it. You choose to start. You load in. I have a lot of automation going on right now, so all of my champions and stuff get loaded in for me because of my familiars and my Modron core. But yeah, that's how you start a new level. My game keeps playing the same song over and over. How do I make it play the other songs? Vampire Logan, you click down here on the jukebox. It's got the little musical notes and load up. Like, see, here's the thing. It's going to start off. We'll just get clear. It's going to start off with nothing in here, right? And you're just listening to the original music in the background that was the theme of Idle Champions. And then you come over here and you just highlight whatever. Like you can do. These are the fully lyricized versions. So the ones with lyrics. If you just want, I just want some nice background music going on. So I'm going to highlight everything that I want to listen to in green, and I'm going to hit this little button. And I'm going to put them over here, and it's going to kick in. Yeah. Brunor's song. Give it to me. All right. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of questions, folks. All right. Do I just need to do lightning round from the beginning? That would be a busy day. We'll do what we can. Super Zugnap. If I say your name wrong, I feel your pain. My name is Gaarawarr. Yeah. Do I need to put familiars to upgrade champions in my secondary team to level them, or is this an automatic feature from the offline function? No, like automation is, familiars are automation. Your background party, if you don't have familiars there, it's not automating anything. And your Modron, only if you have a Modron, you do have a Modron because you have a background party, it only sets a formation and an area goal and buffs. It doesn't level up champions. So you gotta have familiars for that. Mr. Elemental, so I just started playing and I'm wondering when I should open the Electrum chests. I have 23 from past codes that I found, and I'm not sure when I should open them, especially being new. I assume I should wait till I have unlocked mini champs. I mean, yes and no. I like where your head's at, because Electrums are a way to gear up all the champions you have unlocked. But when you're a new player, you just get that power. I have held on to mine. Where are they? Down here. I'm like, that's not it. I've held on to mine since the last event because for me as a veteran player, I don't need the power they provide on my already established champions. So I wait and I hold on until the new champion comes out, and then I open up for them because I want to get them as many levels as the chance for as many levels as possible. So along with grinding out a bunch of their chests, which I have for silver and gold for Shaka today, I want to load as many Electrums on. But when you're a new player, you just want to open up the chests when you get them, because like if they're Electrums or regular silvers or regular golds, absolutely open up right away. If they're named event champion chests, yeah, open up right away. That way you can use those champions. There are group chests, which you're going to see later today, after noon Pacifically. So in like 37 minutes, the weekend buffs will arrive. And with that, weekend chests that are just for that group of champions. And if you signed up for the newsletter, you're going to get a newsletter with a free chest, with free gear. Sign up for the newsletter. Go over here. I do this a lot. There's a reason, because free stuff is great. Those chests, sometimes you might want to hold on to, because those chests will only drop, like a chest that has a group of champions will only drop gear for the champions that you own. So those you might want to hold on to, or you just might want to open. That one you can make your own call on. But regular silver and golds, you're going to get so many. Just open them. Regular Electrums, you get a lot every week, folks. You get one every time they do a stream on their channel. Plus, they have lots of partners who do streams and podcasts at other places on the internet. And you're going to get Electrums from those too. Harold Phoenix, when a character is newly available, the button is blue. I'm new, so I don't know if this is bug. No, this means they're not, blue means they're not in your formation, but you have enough gold to put a level into them. That's what that means. It's telling you blue. If I were to remove, I just kind of saw it there. Let me remove familiars. Green means they are in your formation and you have enough gold to level them up. So these are the indicators that they added to let you know, like if they're blue, you shouldn't be spending your gold on them because they're not in your, unless you, if your formation isn't full yet, then yes, maybe you want them in it. But like mine is full. I have a full formation. This is what I want. I'm not spending money on a champion that I'm not putting in my formation. That's a waste of my gold, right? Mass Delirium, what are shiny cards and how do I get more? I like that you don't know what they are, but you want more. Yeah. So shinies are what we call a guild. I'm going to go over here to the collection to demonstrate this. So for a normal item, if we look here, on Deacon. A normal item, you'll see, well, we can do it with any rarity. You'll see the interior border is this copper color, right? That is a normal item. If the interior border changes to a different color, that is what we're referring to as gilding. So you can gild your item slot, the entire slot, with either a silver or gold. So silvers are referred to as shinies. You can see down here in slot 6, there's this light silver border around the entire slot. When I hover over it, you see the interior has become silver. That is a shiny item. It can also be wrapped in gold, and it becomes a golden item. And when you look at that down here, it actually delineates with the item level at the top, shiny level 66. What it's doing is it's a shiny is multiplying the power of the item by 50%. So it's giving you a boost to power, whereas a golden is multiplying it by 100%. So it's an even bigger boost to power, right? Shinies drop out of the primary delivery method. Shinies drop out of chests at a rate of 1 in 1,000 chests, so they are very rare. And there's no pity timers, so you could open 10,000 chests and not get one. Or you could open 100 chests and get 7. Right? Like there's RNG gonna RNG all up in here. There are other ways to get shinies. For instance, some packs from the store come with either a guaranteed shiny. Like if I buy at least $10 worth of stuff in the store, there's going to be at least one guaranteed shiny per $10 I spend. So here I'm going to get 2. Here I'm going to get 5. Right? See how that works? And Goldens are primarily only available for store purchases. However, every now and then they give them out for free. Like right now, there's the community challenge using your channel points in this channel to unlock a GE for free for Crawl. There are also some packs, if they don't have chests in them, so thus can't give you a shiny, like with this familiar, they will, and it's $20, they will instead give you a potion of polish, because there's no chest. They can't give you item drops, right? So instead, they give you a potion of polish, and this turns a random loot item from a random champion, so there's no way to direct it at all, into a shiny, and you just pop it as a potion. Yeah, pretty nice. There are also golden items in the patron shop. Once you unlock patrons, they have a shop, and you can work your way down in influence, or up in influence, to be able to purchase items for certain evergreen champions. There's just one per patron. So yeah, those are the harder things. Now keep in mind, because they're just multiplying the power in that slot, they're not required. Because the other way you raise your power from a slot is just getting duplicate items. So opening more and more chests raises the item levels, and the item levels are a multiplier against the rarity of the card, of the rarity of the gear, and create the power. So it's kind of a way to kind of speed up your power progression, but it's not always necessary, but it's nice. Pandolf Games, can you explain how Arkira's healing works with Artemis, Archon, Okori, and Narak? Okay, are we doing that? It's going to be that kind of day, huh? All right, folks. I apologize to new players. We're going to get into some higher level strategies because that's what we usually do. Some of that on this show. I don't say we usually do that. I mean, we do some of that on this show. So Alcoria is a champion in slot 1. She's Dragonborn. She's also a character played by our very own community manager, Obo Lauren, on the Heroes of the Plains. So this is Lauren's character in the game. She does a lot of things like healing and debuffing, burning things with fire. Has one of the cooler ultimates in the game. We'll fire that off here in a minute. Specifically, this question, though, is around doing lots of healing shenanigans, and by shenanigans I mean doing things that are combining multiple different champions to maximize numbers. Alcoria has a heal that heals non-adjacent champions, but she also has a debuff that's based on the amount of healing she has done. Well, she has a debuff that is then multiplied by the amount of healing she has done during a run. So you can maximize this with some shenanigans. So right now, my Healing Flame, this is the number we're looking to raise, has nothing because I don't have any other champions in here. So we can shenaniganize this. Yes, that's a word, folks. I promise. Don't quote me. All right, with a couple characters who do some interesting things. Okay, specifically, I think I heard they wanted to see Archon, Artemis, Alcoria, and Narak. So we're going to have to build out a full formation here. This is going to be interesting. Let me quickly explain some of the shenanigans that these champions do. Yeah, we're totally not biased in thinking that Alcoria is the queen of debuffs currently. Gosh, how am I going to want to do this? This is an interesting formation. I think I'm going to want maybe a little something over here. Maybe like... Definitely going to want some of that action. Yeah, maybe something like this. So the key here... no, we want this. Yes. So the key here is Archon has an ability called Usurp. It's one of his specializations. He looks at the people adjacent to him and he goes, oh, I like your buff. I'm going to take it for myself, as long as he's not getting it. And when he takes it for himself, he takes it at a higher value, as long as you have your gear levels to support it. It is supported by an item, so it is dependent on your gear. But as you can see, Orkira is healing. I want to do this like this. Orkira is healing... No. I need a tank. What tank do I want? I want Sentry. Orkira is healing Sentry here in the front for 5,900. Archon is usurping that heal and getting it at 5.45 EO5. So that's going to be 545,000 multiplied just a little bit, right? And thus that increases our healing, right? Because the debuff multiplier she's getting is based on the amount of healing she's doing. Well, it's a lot better to get that EO5 number than the 5,000 we were getting before, which is an EO3 number, if people want to get technical. So you're getting multiple orders of magnitude higher healing out of it. And then Artemis has an ability not unlike Archon's, where he can observe what other champions in the formation are doing in terms of getting buffages. And he multiplies that. Well, he's going to observe it from Archon and make it even higher, right? I think I can put him here. Did that change? Yeah, we want there. So you do some shenanigans with your manipulation. I think I'm going to want to move him back, actually. And then Narak buffs the positional formation ability. So an ability that is based on that affects things based off their position related to someone. And remember, Orkira said that she wants to heal non-adjacent champions, so people who aren't next to her. That makes it a positional formation ability, and it's based off a wisdom score, and Orkira is super wise. Look at that 20 wisdom stat, so qualifies. So Narak is buffing her healing. We can see this if you look 545 EO5 on Krull, or on Archon, excuse me. Get my Dark Order people confused. Now when he throws this off, now it's down to 878 EO4. So that's the difference. We're getting a solid boost just by having Narak there. Now, Alcoria, everybody hanging in there? Alcoria bases, this game's deeper than you thought, wasn't it, folks? Alcoria bases her bonus on the number of, she has a bonus that's based on the number of spellcasters in her formation. So spellcasters being people whose base attack is magic. Well, how do you know if someone's base attack is magic? You open up here, and right here where it says base, Burning Hands, you look, and this icon means it's a magical attack, right? It looks like a little fire bolt or some kind of magical attack. Whereas this, with the sword, is a melee attack. And this, with an arrow, is a ranged attack. Not bad, right? Okay, so now I need to add in people who have magic-based attacks so that I can get my spellcaster school, this one, up to 5, so that Watchful Order with 5+ buffs multiplies positional formation abilities by 25%. Right, so that's what we're looking for. Where do we want to go? We're going to go freely because, or Kira learned freely or friends. No, that's not what I want, actually. Hold on. What I really want to do, and I don't know if I can, is find people who are actually DPS that have a magical ranged attack. No, Linder's support. I don't know why I did that. Ashara. I want Ashara. We'll potpourri her up. We're going to get some Farida in here. Farida in the house. What else do I want? I'm doing this because I kind of want to maximize Artemis's friend specialization, which gives him a greater buff for people if the DPS are next to him. Oh, and Ariza works. Boom. Okay. That should be well over... Well, yeah, we're at 6 stacks now, so that's fine. This is just an example, folks. I'm not doing all of these specializations correctly, but as you can see, we've ramped up Artemis's healing all the way up to 5.9 E11. And that means Orkira already has E11 effective healing done and is already in the E09 for the bonuses. As a multiplier. Never would have gotten anywhere remotely that high, earning 5,000 or 6,000 per heal, right? That's shenanigans. That's the shenanigans, folks. That's it right there. Some questions are longer to answer than others, folks. But we're going to take our time when we need to. So I hope that helps, Mass Delirium. This is not a perfectly ideal formation. There, you can find that in the hashtag formations channel, probably, or in resources, the hashtag resource channel on Discord. There are probably people who have tried to, if you forgot all the champions, who have done the math to figure out the exact right places and positions and people. But that's an example of how it works. Where should I assign my familiars if I only have 3? Augusta Gate. If you're new and you only have 3, at the start of your run, I would put 1 here on click damage and 2 out here on the field. So I would do this. I would go boom, boom, boom. That way, you're upgrading your click damage and you're killing things instantly with your familiars. But once your area level that you're on gets higher than your click damage level, take it off of the click damage and then just put it out on the field. It's going to do, when you have 3 out here, 3 or more familiars, gold automatically gets collected. So then you don't have to sit over here and do the thing where every time you kill a champion... you're scraping up the gold off, or every time you kill an enemy, you're scraping the gold up off the field so you can spin it right away. You don't have to do that when you've got 3 familiars out. It does that automatically. If you don't care about that, you could then, one of the things I like to do is just put them up here on the roaming ultimate bar and just let them walk around and they'll smash that ultimate like every 30 seconds as long as it's not on cooldown. So, yeah, that's what I would... do. That's usually what I do when I start a new account. What are the differences with the familiars, and is it important to have one? The difference is purely cosmetic. They're super cute. Is it good to have them? Yeah, they're quality of life features. They're automation. They're built-in automation that they do things. They click on the fields, or they click on your champions and upgrade them, or they click on your ultimates. They're basically a way to automate the game that isn't, external scripts of some kind. Should we be saving silver chests for the patrons things? Revel Pookie, no. No. I mean, not unless you're about to unlock that patron and you want to unlock them right away. Then, yeah. But as a new player, no. Just open your chests and get that power. You need that power to even get to the... You're going to need as much power as you can get when you start doing patron stuff. Because the variants you're going to have to do to get influence with patrons are harder than the normal variants. The mom unit, again, I'm catching up. I've got all your questions over here. And when I say all, the list is currently at, oh, good Lord, 67 questions. I'm on 16. Yeah. No, 17. Hey, progress. All right, let's do some lightning round. Is there a way to read the champion upgrades in the console UI like there is in the PC UI? I'm the mom unit. I'm actually not sure. I've never used console UI. I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. Maybe somebody in chat can answer that uses a console. What are your tips for a new player on tackling blessings? Guillerme Mafra? So blessings. My tip is always keep warnings enabled. So this checkbox should always be checked. And then buy until the little pop-up comes up and says, are you sure? And then you go, oh, no, I'm good, thanks. And then stop. And then try it on the next one and the next one. And if it lets you buy it without a pop-up, buy it. If it doesn't, stop. And then go back into your run and earn more. That's the best tip, because that's going to keep your power going up while also giving you enough favor to get some gold. What happens when you open a chest of a character you don't yet own? So Avisbach, if I didn't own, if it's a named chest, like Silver Shaka chest, and I didn't have Shaka, the game stores the gear for me. So it stores it in that collection, even if you don't have a collection or you don't see a collection. It's stored in there, and then when you get the champion, the gear will be there. However, when it's one of those group chests I was talking about, if the chest says it's going to drop gear for 5 champions and you only own 2 of them, you're only going to get tier gear for the 2 of those champions to drop. The other 3 it won't drop. It's smart like that. It won't drop the gear. So named chests, go ahead and open it because you're not losing anything. What's your go-to formation for deep pushing in the Sword Coast? Is it 84? I don't deep push in the Sword Coast. But if I were, it would be a click debuff formation. That's the last time I deep pushed and cleared level 1000. It was click debuff. I think I got to 1004 and stopped. If you want to go further than that, you're going to use I think people call it a Jimothy formation. And I don't know why. But that's like a Jim, Human, Briv formation. Potentially Havilar, depending on your item levels. Yeah. Those are whole other things. Check the Discord for those conversations. How to auto upgrade the champion? You need a familiar. So like right here, I've got this on upgrade, and then I put a familiar on Orkira, and now Armored Juniper there is going to upgrade it automatically for me. As for Fulalon, Aviator. I'm seeing double. For character stats, it has, for example, int 8 plus 2. What does the 2 different numbers mean? And how is it different from int 10? And how does that affect the game? So Aviator, these are Dungeons & Dragons character sheet stats. When it gives you a number and then it has something down here below, or sometimes some sheets put it up top, what it's saying is your strength is 10. Your bonus to checks and ability checks and things and saves that involve strength is a +0. So the 0, or if we go down here, 18 and +4, it means that when I roll, like, say, a d20, I can add the +4 to that saving throw or that ability check. Whereas on a 10, because it's a lower number, I don't get any bonus. So basically, every 2 points you go up above 10, you get +1 to your checks and saves. Lauren will correct me if I'm wrong, but she was my first DM. If I said it wrong, it's her fault. No, I'm kidding. No, everybody loves Lauren. It's my fault if I said it wrong. But yeah, it's a Dungeons and Dragons thing. How does it affect the game? So it's not 18 plus 4. It's not 22 decks. It's 18. It's just 18. How does that affect the game? Well, this game is loosely based. It's themed on D&D, and there's lots of D&D stories. Occasionally, there are bosses you'll fight where they'll actually have abilities that they do that force your characters to roll a saving throw. This all happens behind the scenes, but your stats will then determine your outcome, right? Like, so the higher your stat, the better your chance of succeeding. And in some cases, stats just flat out, make it so that you just straight take less damage. The variants will have usually a little icon over here that you can hover over that will tell you what's going on, usually. So yeah. Can I redeem the epic bonus on my Steam account? No, it's an epic bonus. Is there an effective way to farm chests? I'm new to the game. Karzier, if you're new to the game, the best way to farm chests is just to play the game. Just go ahead and play through the adventures, through the storyline adventures. When you get strong enough, do the variants. You earn gems from doing them. So you earn gems as rewards from completing things. You also earn gems by killing bosses along the way. And then you can go over here to the shop, to the gem items, and you can buy chests with those gems. That's the best way to farm chests. Otherwise, they're just going to fall off bosses as you kill them. There's a chance for them to drop when you kill bosses. But the fastest way to get them is to buy them with gems. Which champion is best for first slot, then? The dwarf, he is weak. Nat, I will fight you. That's me king. It's Brunor, the greatest dwarven king. He's not weak. He's a great champion. If you're trying to use him as a tank, you're using him wrong. Brunor is a support champion. He buffs the people in his column. So yeah, I mean, there's other champions, and eventually you'll get them. Like I said, if you're looking for debuffers with some heals, or Kira's fantastic. I would say she's currently the best champion in slot 1. But to say Brunor is weak as a new player, I feel like you're probably just using Brunor wrong. Papu Pain, how many familiars do I need to open gem bags automatically? Well, let's look over here. If I just hover over here, with 5 familiars or more, boss sacks will be picked up right away. So 5. 3 is the magic number for picking up the gold. 5 is for picking up and opening the boss sacks. 6 is for killing distractions automatically. Is it better to upgrade more expensive champions first because they gain the most amount of damage? No. Damn it, Dutch. No. No. There is an efficiency to upgrades that needs to be maintained if you're trying to be super efficient about it. And that efficiency has nothing to do with the gold you spend and everything to do with what their next upgrade is and how it's going to benefit your team. So, like right here, the next upgrade for Ashara is going to be to increase her damage by 200%. Well, if she's not my DPS, say if I was focusing on Farida, then upgrading Ashara's damage doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to look for an upgrade that's coming up next that upgrades Farida's damage, which is going to be hers. But eventually, there can be upgrades in the list, like increasing the effect of Ashara's bond by 200%. Well, that, if you've done it right, that's going to affect Farida, right? So you have to look at where you're spending your gold and where you're getting your bonuses. Sometimes it will make sense for you then to jump to certain champions and buy their self-damage stuff, but only to get them to their next group upgrade, right? So your primary DPS is usually your priority for upgrading because they're the ones doing the damage and killing the things. Second priority is any champion that is providing a buff of some kind that raises your primary champion's DPS. And then alongside that is, an upgrade that is going to make your tank more survivable if what's happening is your tank's dying. But that's wishy-washy, I said, to the side of that, because sometimes your tank's dying just because you're not killing things quick enough. And sometimes your tank's dying because they just don't have enough health. It's a balancing act. Will the shiny status work for everything in the slot? Yes. In other words, I wonder what happens if I get a shiny and a white item, but later find rare editions. No, it's the gilding happens on the slot, like I showed you, wrapped all the way around all 4 potential rarities. If you get it on one, you'll still have it on the. If you get it on white, you'll still have it on purple. Rainbow Dashed Mercedes. How much does Bardic Inspiration cost? I'm from the U.S., but working in Indonesia, and it's currently priced at over $372. That seems like a store issue. I don't know what the conversion there is. Bardic Inspiration in U.S. dollars is $9.99. So there's some conversion going on that's causing problems there. When should I stop opening silver chests and move on to gold chests? Anju Hart. When your champions are in at least all greens. So if they've still got white, if they've got white gear or no gear, like if I come over here, my Shaka got no gear yet because I don't open any chests. I still need to open. Like if this was a regular core evergreen champion, I would still want to be opening silver chests to get them in gear until they were at least in greens. Like the lowest color I want to see here would then be a green, and then at that point I would then switch to gold chests, because at that point then they would be getting upgrades. Like once you're in greens, the golds are going to offer blues automatically, and then a chance at purples. So. How do I get click damage? I'm new to this game. Down here on the left, yours isn't a snowball. Yours would look like this. you can put points into that. But it's really just for the first few levels, and that extends the more favor you get. But the whole point of this game isn't to click through it. The point of this game really is to build a formation and have the champions, your party, kill things. Chachev, Hagar, any tips for starting out playing Idle Champions? Watch streams like this. Also read up on stuff in the Reddit and join the Discord. I think people have probably been linking my guides in the chat. Like I've got 90 guides to the game. I wouldn't try to read through all of them at once. There is one that will help you as a new player called a new player reference, colon a guided tour. That is my new player guide. If you want something that kind of walks you through the process of playing through the game somewhat efficiently. Yeah, there you go. That's about as hand-holdy as I get. Usually I like to teach people to fish, not give them fish. So how similar would it be to Crusaders? I don't know. I never played it. There are people who have. Find them in the Discord. I don't know. B52 Willie, is there a reason when I use my automation core for gem mining, it stops progress at a lower level than when I am watching it? Only here I have in the formation is Deacon with 3 familiars, one on the field, one. It sounds like you're putting this in the background, and you're turning it into a background party. That's what I'm getting out of then when I am watching it. If it's in the background, it's using offline functionality. And if you're doing Mad Wizard, it's going to stop and hang up on the barrier levels. So the levels where there's like barricades that have lots of little segmented health. You need. I recommend for background, just me personally, I recommend if you're putting a party in the background back here, that you're putting your familiars on champions to level them up and add them to the formation and let them do your progress. Click damage I don't think works as well because it hangs up on those barriers in the background. So you'd have to do something other than Mad Wizard. So either level up, use all your familiars on champions, or switch to something that isn't Mad Wizard. PSNK, is there a way to make champions use their ultimates while idle? Yeah, you put a familiar on them. Like right here. If I put a familiar down here, Boo's going to sit there and smash that ultimate over and over and over. Where do I enter the code? Kenny, go to the shop, click on unlock a locked chest up here in the top right, and put it in right here. All right, I'm new to the game. Any tips? You're in the right place. Yeah, press F for familiars. Reset often. Like, here's a big one, folks. Don't spend more than like an hour at a wall grinding for gold. If you've spent an hour on one level, you're not really going to go any further. It's time to reset. So click this button, hit complete, start a new run, and use all that favor that you just earned to make it easier for you to progress on the next one. That's the big one. With harder to get gear, are my event champions going to be forever behind on item level and so weaker and less useful than my core and evergreens? Not at all. Especially time gate ones from year one that I haven't unlocked yet. Gotcha, Tar. No, not really. So there's a lot more ways to get gear now than ever before. First of all, yeah, you can run time gates for any champion of your choosing. That's one way to level up gear and like get gear for them and level it up. But also the new addition of Electrum chests dumps items on every champion that you have unlocked. So that's another way to start getting them item levels. And that drops up to blue gear. And then patrons, the patron shop, their gear, like their chests, will drop loot for any champions that are usable by this patron. So each patron has a bucket of champions that are different. And if you set up your lists right, you can start cherry picking who's getting what with chests and gear them all up. That's how I ended up in all epics. Is it going to take a while? Sure. I think it took me like 2 years, but it wouldn't have taken that long with all of these new systems and ways to get it. Like I had to until you could actually choose the champion out of your time gate, which wasn't always a thing, folks. Usually it just gave you 3 random ones up here, and if you didn't like it, you're out of luck. But now you can pick whatever you want out of this entire list and start targeting them to get gear, and that's made it so much faster. It's a long-term thing, but yeah, you'll get there. My Shield's Gaming, the level 50 boss of Icewind Dale campaign wipes me out first hit. Well, yeah, that's a goddess. Am I doing something wrong? You probably don't have enough tanks in your formation. So, like, if they wipe you out in one hit, that means you don't have enough health. And if you don't have enough health, that usually means you don't have enough tanks in your formation sharing their health to everyone else. Just because if we look at this, if we come up here and we look at Icewind Dale, just because this formation only has one tank line slot doesn't mean that you only use one tank. They're baiting you here. They're kind of baiting you. You need to have other tanks in here somewhere, sharing health to everybody so that your party can stay alive when she AoEs them. But yeah, that's one of the ways that they get you, because Icewind Dale is one of the current hard campaigns. Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale are the hardest campaigns in the game currently, and that's one of the ways they teach that to you, is they just absolutely wreck you when you get to bosses. How do you unlock the automation core? Isan, you have to do an adventure called Split the Party. To even qualify for that adventure, you need to have a minimum of 2 champions in each slot. So I have a lot more than 2, but as long as when you click, everything has to have an arrow. Every slot has to have a swippy swappy arrow. If you're missing if a slot doesn't have that, then you need to find a swap for that slot somehow. Time gates usually. But also you earn a lot every time an event comes around, and events happen every 3 weeks. So there's a familiar slot above the ultimate icons. What does that do? Well, if we hover over it, it tells us. This is the random ultimate slot. Place up to 4 familiars here to automatically activate ultimate abilities. Each familiar will click an off cooldown ability every 30 seconds. How do you bring your team with you to a new mission? I always start from 0. Everybody starts from 0, Evamies. Everybody starts from 0. Every time you start a new mission, you start with no champions out, and you have to earn gold and put them back in. That's how the game works. The permanent power that you gain is favor from earning gold on each run, blessings that you buy with favor, and the gear that you loot. Now later on, you'll also add perks from patrons and Modron cores and their flow. Like there's other methods of permanently unlocked power. Your champions and their levels are not part of that. However, there is one thing that will hold over. When you're leveling up a champion, initially you'll have no feat slots enabled. Once you get them to a certain level, and it's different per champion, you will unlock a feat, and that is another unlock a slot, and then you can assign a feat that you own to that slot, and that is another way to get you permanent progress. Once you've unlocked them, they stay open, and it doesn't matter. When you put them in at level 1, they still have the feat enabled. And then it's an even higher level, closer to their soft cap, to get the second one. But that's one thing you can unlock permanently by leveling up in a thing. But you start from 0 every time. In new campaigns, whenever they add new campaigns, and when new events happen, or when an event happens, and when a time gate happens, you start from 0 favor in those places too. But you bring all the other power. You bring all your global blessings. You bring all your gear. You bling, You bring your perks and your Modron core. You just don't bring favor. Cheryl Blonde 18. How do I see which adventures I've already gone on? It will read out here when you click on it. It will read free play. It'll have this little blue free play. That means you've already done the base adventure. And now you can just go back and do it however much you want. Reset whenever you want. Like, there's no completion. It's just a free play. And then if it's a variant, it puts a little checkbox here, and there's no way to redo it. Yeah, so that's how you tell. Which adventure should I do first? If you've finished the tutorial, then you want to do the running. It looks like you're in the running. How do I tell if I unlock, say, Kreidel in the Grandfather Acorn running? So over here, same thing. If you click on here and it says free play, then you've already unlocked that champion. Like if it shows you that you have variants available down beneath them, you've already unlocked that champion. Chamber, are we safe to buy the Year 3 Renown pack, or is there a chance for a similar giveaway for Steam? They've never, like the Founders pack or the Champions of Renown pack? I think you mean Champions of Renown. I don't know that they've ever given away sometimes they'll do giveaways for the Champions of Renown pack, but usually as like a drawing, not as a, like they don't usually just give it away to everybody. This is a new thing that they're trying out where they're testing out on Epic Game Store. They'll see how it works, and then maybe they'll do it somewhere else. But I wouldn't really worry about it. If you want those champions and you want that gear, and you want to use it, then go for it. If it's not something that's okay for you in terms of your disposable income, then don't. I don't own it. But that's because I don't get anything from it except for a skin and some shinies. If I was a new player, it'd probably look better. Is there a way to end the free play? I started it not knowing what I was doing. It's level 102, but it's very hard for me. Well, that's the point. Dino J. You push to the point where it's very hard. Because you want to get gold. Like the more gold you earn, the more favor then you get when you're done, and that makes each subsequent run easier. That's kind of the whole premise of the game, is you push until it's real hard to push in adventures, in the regular adventures and in free plays, and then you reset. And when you reset, you click here. It's this swippy swappy arrow, complete adventure, hit complete, and it'll bail you out. And then your next run in that same adventure or in that same event or campaign is going to be easier because you pushed to a super difficult place. Now, the exception to the rule is variants. When you're doing a variant, if the pop-up box says complete or continue, just bail. Those are hard. You're not gonna get a whole lot out of those by going further. So, how do you sign up for the newsletter? Main menu. Newsletter. Bam. Do the thing. New to the game. When I started a new campaign, I only have one guy out. Yeah. How did you start the new running with a full party out? I didn't. It was real quick and it was hard to notice, but I started with one champion out, which was whoever was loaded in as my slot 1 from the previous run. And then my automation that sets a formation automatically switched everything in my party to these characters. And then my automation that is these familiars that loaded in automatically placed them out and started putting and buying them and thus loading them into the formation in the save that I had. Like I have a formation saved here that's speed. My Modron will set it automatically for me. And my familiars will buy all my champions for me. It just happened like that because I have tons of favor and it could just buy them all right away. If I didn't have tons of favor, it wouldn't do that. Is there a difference between opening chests one by one or simultaneously? Yeah, one's quicker. Sorry. That's it. It's just faster when you do them in bulk. I can't get through any Mert variants. What am I doing wrong? Probably nothing. They seem super hard. My current wall is about level 440. Yeah. Variants are super hard when they're patron stuff. Like, here's the thing. Everything up until the point that you unlock patrons and start and having patrons be your primary source of content is the early game. Kind of getting into patrons and doing patron variants is the mid game. So if you don't have the power to transition into that, don't bother. Don't mess with it. That's why I actually in my new player guide I don't even recommend doing any patron stuff right away, even if you qualify and can unlock them. Maybe a couple things so you can start buying time gate pieces, but patrons are harder. They're much more difficult. They take you have to complete a regular variant, and then they take that regular variant, they add the patron restriction, and then they increase the level that you have to get to. So they're more difficult in two different ways. So yeah, go do something else. Get more favor or something, because you're going to need it if you need to go higher than that. There's a difference between... Oh, no, I already did that one. Sorry, I jumped a question. I'm still waiting for playable gnolls to add on the team. Do they plan to add the gnoll to the team? I don't know. I'm not a developer. I haven't heard anything about it. What are golden cards and how do you get those? I think I went over that already. Sodelgon. Golden epics are usually purchased from the shop as a sweetener to get with chests. Occasionally there are giveaways, like we're trying to earn one right now down below in the down that way in the chat box with channel points, and then you can get them occasionally. You can get one per patron for certain evergreens. The different familiars have different click speed. No, they're all exactly alike. They just visually look different. Should I spend my gems in chests or save them for familiars? ¿Por qué no los dos? There's a gems visual aid for that. I recommend buying the mage hand right away. After that, use your best informed judgment. Usually you want to do chests for a while and then a familiar, and then more chests, and then a familiar. What happens with duplicate items you get from chests? They turn into item levels for that piece of gear. So nothing's ever wasted. And the higher the rarity, the more item levels you get. So like, for instance, my Talon here has a level 47 champions badge. That's because they've gotten enough duplicates to get it to level 47. Whereas my Ashara, because they're an event champion, so they get fewer duplicates, just generally speaking. My Ashara has a level 1,813 Jade Spear of the Mind, because they are a core champion, so every time I open regular silver and gold chests, they have a chance to get duplicates, and I've been opening those for 3.5 years, so they have a lot of item levels. That doesn't mean that your core and evergreens are always going to be better than your event champions. They scale differently. Do items from chests carry over to different campaigns events? Yeah, you keep those items permanently. Items are permanent unlocks. Low stance. If I have a level 30 blue equipment and I get a purple for that, do the purple item get level 30? Yeah, you keep your item levels. The item levels are for the slot. Item levels and gilding are slot based, so it's just whatever different rarity you're adding in is another multiplier. So there's like the rarity is one multiplier, the item level is another multiplier, and then the guild, I can't do this with the mic in my way, the guild is another multiplier. So you're just adding different multipliers, but everything sticks around. I have a shiny hexblade on my Nova that I got from the epic thingy. That's good, right? Yeah, that just means that item slot is getting a boost. How do I switch heroes on the bench? Grim Greetings, you use the little swippy swappy buttons. You click on the swippy swappy buttons at the top left, and then you click swap, and you level them up. How can I tell, Mistress Element, how can I tell what each familiar can do, or they all just click? They all click. It's where you put them that determines what they do. How do you find a good combination of heroes? You just test it out. You can get some pre-built formations from people, like in the hashtag formations channel, or in my guides, like for the event. I have an event guide up for Gaarawarr's Guide to the Running Year 4, which is going to give you a basic starter formation that uses core champions, plus Hitch, because Hitch you can get right away from the newsletter. But that's just a starting point. You push as far as you can with that, and when you get to your wall, so aka that place where all of a sudden it's really hard to kill stuff and you're not really moving forward and maybe you're dying and falling back a level, then you try different things out. You adjust your formation with different champions and see what happens. That's how everybody learned in this game, and it's something you're just going to have to take the time to do. I have a guide for that. It's called Formation Strategy 101. Basically, it's reading your heroes or your champions and knowing how to place them. Started day, love the game, love stream. Welcome. Lots of people have started the last couple days. Gee, I wonder why. Glad you're enjoying the stream, though. We do try to educate. The informal motto of the community that I've tried to push forward for the last 3.5 years is don't hate, educate. I think it's worked pretty well. What's up, Mars? I see you in chat. I see you. We're gonna do the Beetle and Grim tag team. I've built up some long rest stacks for you, so I hope you come in with a nice buff, and then you're gonna get 2 hours to build up long rest stacks for me. How do you change the numbers to not have the E? I used to have Q or N or whatever at the end, and it suddenly changed to EXX for everything. First of all, how dare you not want to use the E? But it's the Y button. It's the Y button. As you can see, it's a big S and a little T. I don't know what that means. Street? Am I 12.7 street? No, that's why I use E. I use E. The E numbers are scientific notation. And what does this mean? I see a lot of people that like to explain it as it's the number of zeros after. No, it's not. It's the number of places you move your decimal point to the right. Obviously, that adds a lot of zeros when you move it 55 places, but that's the way it works. So if you have something that says 1.00E04, for example, that means I'm going to move the decimal point 4 places to the right, and that number is 10,000. So 1E05, you're in the E05s, that's in the 100,000s. You're in the E06s, that's the millions. But the thing is I don't need to know, as a player of this game, what number I'm at. I know, it's mind-blowing, right? I don't need to know what literal number that is. What I need to know is how that number compares to another given number when I'm swapping champions out, or if I'm looking at progression here. And the E's are the fastest way to do that, because I can very easily tell if E54 is higher than E53 just because the number is bigger, or if E51 is lower than E64 when I swap a champion around because the number got smaller. I don't have to translate what all the little letters mean. So I highly recommend, you can change it back with the Y button. Eventually, you're going to get to such high numbers that the game's going to force you over to scientific notation. I recommend just starting there from the beginning. What's a good party for beginners? All right, I'm going to do this. I'm only going to do this because they said for beginners. So if you're brand new to the game, all you have is the core champions. And maybe I'll do one for the Epic Games giveaway too. But let's do a core champions party. Oh, and I don't want to level them up just yet because I want to explain this. I'm going to do this educational style. It's going to be a long week, folks. Just accept that I'm going to bumble some words here and there. Oh, no, we're not doing Delano. We're doing Hitch because you should have got Hitch. You should have got Hitch. Get hitched. Sign up for the newsletter and get hitched. I think that's what I'm going to say from now on. Get hitched. I like that. All right. Okay, we're going to do some thingamabobbers. I'm just throwing out a bunch of champions here. These are the... I keep wanting to put familiars out. These are the 10 champions for a starter player that I would use for Shaka's free play. This is not the positioning I would use them in. So let me start talking about how these work. So Nayeli, Goldflower right here, is a tank. So she needs to be in the tank line most of the time. But as a new player, these are the only two tanks you're going to have, Nayeli and you're going to have Tyrell, if you don't have anybody else yet. They need to be in the front to do the tankiness things. Let me just switch over Tyrell here. For Tyrell to tank, he should be in his wild shape form. And wabam, Tyrell is a bear now. He's super leveled up. I will level up Nayeli. Because I am a new player, that's what I'm pretending to be right now. Hi, I'm Gaarawarr, I'm a new player. I want to put my tank in as tanky a form as I can get him. Because survivability. I'm going to go Oath of Devotion. This is the tanking spec for Nayeli. Oath of Vengeance is more, I don't need tank. I'm just going to focus on buffing. Oath of Devotion is what gets her a lot more health and also shares that health with the rest of the party. So that's kind of key. Brunor, the greatest Dwarven king of all. We're going to move him up here into the second column. Why? Because Nayeli only buffs the column right behind her. Only the column right behind her. So our DPS, whoever we're choosing as DPS, needs to be in the column right behind Nayeli. Spoiler alert, it's going to be Jarlaxle. So we need to put Brunor in the same column as Jarlaxle so that they can all buff the DPS. And because I'm new, and my tanks, while I picked their survivable specs, still aren't going to hold up to like 25 enemies or even 20 enemies, I'm going to go ahead and go with Battlemaster. They'll probably die to 10 enemies. Because it gives me a buff right away. and I don't have to worry about things being on my tank to raise that up. So I've got Brunor, I've got Jarlaxle over here. Jarlaxle has 2 different specializations paths. Master Disguise buffs his damage. Leader of the Brigand Aerith buffs his gold find, which buffs his damage. Always choose Leader of the Brigand Aerith as a new player. Get that gold. Make that money. Level up your champions. And we're going to move some people around. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I am just going to put, just because I want to, Hitch up here. Doesn't really matter who you put up here. You could put Ashara up here. Yeah, we'll leave Ashara up there. Ashara is going to be supporting my Jarlaxle in this formation. Ashara is a DPS in her own right. If you would rather use Ashara as your DPS, you go right ahead and do that. It's your game. You play it how you want to. But I am going to pick Bond Dwarves and Elves, because Jarlaxle is a Drow, and Drow are Dark Elves. That's just the lore. So, because it says, including Drow, it's trying to tell you, Drow are Elves. However, half-elves are not elves, folks, because they're racist, I guess. Yeah, that's a whole other bond. Anyway, we're going to go dwarves and elves, and then see half-bloods. They have that whole other thing up here. And then I'm just going to pick this one, I think, just for funsies. Anyway, so now Ashara is supporting Jarlaxle here, but also doing some damage while we're early on. And I've got Celeste. Celeste is a healer, and she's going to buff people that are adjacent to her. So I actually want her adjacent to both of the people that I'm currently going to have DPSing, which is Jarlaxle and Ashara. You might be tempted to place her next to as many people as possible because she buffs all adjacent people. Don't give in to that temptation, folks. It only matters that she's buffing your primary DPS. That's the one that's going to contribute the most to your overall numbers. So just make sure that's the focus. When you get here to your specialization, because she is 2 columns back, I could change this. You know what? Let's change this. I'm going to make this easier for everybody. We're going to put Ashara right here. Or not Ashara, Celeste. I'm going to put Celeste here because this makes a specialization choice. She's going to buff Jarlaxle, and she's going to heal. I'm getting notes from Sashi. Yes, I can do that in a bit. She's going to heal the column just in front of her. If I was putting her 2 columns back, I would choose Life Domain. That would heal both columns. But we'll just maximize her damage. We'll put her there. We moved Ashara back. So now we're being clear that Jarlaxle's our DPS. Then we've got Calliope back here. Calliope buffs the row in front of her and shields everyone within 2 adjacent places, which means with this placement, she can shield the entire party if necessary with her basic protection. Everybody else is just supporting, and they can support from in the back. It doesn't matter. Minsk and Boo. Boo is the actual champion. Minsk just carries him around. I'm going to pick a favorite enemy, Fae. It could be Fae or Humanites for this event. They're the most populous 2 races you're going to run into. Hitch is going to go Charismatic, because that's the best. That's just the best. And Makos is in Dark Blessing. And that's a starter formation. Yeah, we can do the weekend promo and we can go over that. Geez, what are we? I'm into the 60s in questions, folks, but you guys are up into the hundreds in questions. I'm doing what I can. Give me one moment. It's going to get real quiet. Hold on. Let me get something else up here for you to look at while we switch screens. Yeah, that'll work. Boom. Boom. Hey, everybody, it's the Reddit wiki. So when you go to the Reddit and you click on the wiki page, that's what you're going to see as it gets real quiet here while my game resets. There's lots of resources here, not just mine. I have a link here, but there's also Mars has a bunch of stuff. Silisa has a bunch of stuff. And then there's, if we click other resources, and we get that bright white screen, somebody nuked my eyes. You'll see there's lots of other players in the community. They've created lots of other guides as well. And they're all over here. Are we restarting? Yes, now it's restarting. Okay. But if we click over here to my page, you'll see, hey, look, it's all organized. There's introductory guides at the top. There's a bunch of video introductory guides down here that links to the official CNE YouTube channel, because I'm the one that does those. Here's the new player reference, the guided tour that I was mentioning earlier. Hey, that music means we're back. Here's all the champion guides. All of them, folks. All 80 champions in the game have guides over here on this page. But let's go back to the game. It's there. I swear. Yeah, there we go. Okay. This is what changes about the UI during the weekend. You have to reset to get this. That's why I had to do it. Noon Pacific every Friday. The weekend stuff happens. This is a Campfire Tales weekend. What does that mean? That means that all 5 of these champions are getting a buff, and there is a unique chest that will drop gear only for those champions. So, Orkira, you can get this information here, or we can go up here in the UI. Orkira is getting a buff to Elemental Fire of 200%. Jarlaxle is getting Piracy and Disguise at 200%. Go Piracy! This is a great weekend when Jarlaxle has a 200% bonus to his gold find. This is a great favor gaining weekend for everybody. Archine's getting his Bulk Up and Usurp Power by 200%, which is nice because that's his whole thing is about that. Wolfgar, who's a tank swap, one of the companions of the hall, getting Morden's Will and Clangeddon's Will by 200%. And Briv, the Brash, Briv the Bold, Briv the Bountiful. He's getting Nethery's Steel ability by 200%. These are event champions, as is Orkira. So if you don't have those, the buffs you're getting this weekend are for Jarlaxle and Archon. So there's always going to be, generally there's always an exception. But generally speaking, there's always at least one, but usually 2 of your core or evergreen champions that are getting buffs, and then 3 from events or time gates. And then now there is a pack in the store. The gold s'mores chest. Of course it's s'mores, Lauren. This is why you wanted to see this, isn't it? You just wanted to show off the s'mores. Orkira's got a thing about marshmallows. So any chests that you get this week, if you buy from the store, you will get a golden epic for the homemade treats, which is the lesser restoration, which means I'm buying this because that's the healing thing that ups her stuff. This is a great GE. And I'll probably get it this way, so I get a shiny too. And lots of gear. But yeah, so these chests are gonna drop gear for any of those 5 champions if you own them. And you're also going to get this golden epic. Again, if you don't own Orkira, this golden epic will go to her in the collection. But the gear that comes out of the chest will just be for the champs that you own. That's how the weekend things works. This happens every weekend, folks. Every weekend. Again, if you sign up for the newsletter, you will get one of those weekend chests for free in the newsletter. Sign up now. I have 37 minutes until I have to hand off to Mars, folks. 37 minutes. I am at question 63 on my list. I'm just going to tell you right now. The highest number so far is 114. Probably not getting there. I'm going to do my best. So, lightning round. Getting some water. Never fear, though. Mars is up after me. He also can answer your questions. And then I will be back again after Mars to answer your questions. So, be a little patient. Be a little patient, and you will be rewarded. All right, here we go. Black magic. Is it okay to have both good and evil in the same formation? Absolutely. There's always exceptions to the rule. That's noted in the champions descriptions. How often is there a new event? Captain Havoc every 3 weeks. So one just started this past Wednesday. It will run until, so it started Wednesday the 28th. It will end on Monday, May the 10th at noon. And then Wednesday the 19th, which is exactly 3 weeks after the 28th, there will be another event starting. They're pretty much like clockwork. There's 17 a year. Which if you do the math, that's one every 3 weeks. Is upgrading the click damage worth it? Sometimes, Ghastly Warlock. Remember, only until the area you're on, compared to the level you're on, like that's what you want to watch. So like right now I have this at 238. When I get to area 238, there's no point. If I were on 238, I wouldn't be putting more points in click damage. So you just want to make sure, I explained this earlier, probably a lot better than they're doing right now. You just want to make sure that your click damage and your area level are either equal to or greater than. Your click damage is equal to or greater than your area level. Once your area level gets above this, don't bother. You'll learn this if you just test it out. You can watch. That's how I learned it. Drekon Relevant. Hey, yo. How's your speed core now? At level 9, I had 600 levels per hour, but after I got level 10, it got to 800 per hour. Wow. Could you show if you have a pipe now? I don't think I'm anywhere near that, man. I've been doing things that aren't leveling super quickly. So, yeah, I'm at level 8. And honestly, I mean, I piped it out at level 5, and I haven't changed anything because that's really all I cared about was level 5. So until I get to level 10, once I get then I'll pipe it again. I don't care until then. I only care about the speed effects on my speed core. What should a new epic player be going for at the start? General Gears, you should be playing the event. Because events are time limited. You want to do the event. You want to unlock all 3 champions, and you want to push and get enough favor so that you can do all 3 variants for all 3 champions. So just that. Events are basically little mini micro versions of campaigns. So doing events over and over and over again teaches you how to do campaigns. Can I configure it to skip the champ talk? Yep. Go in the main menu, click on settings, come down here to cinematic speed. You can put it anywhere from manual to instant. So if you don't want to see it, put it on instant and it just never shows up at all. How do you get Krull? You either do a time gate for him, you play on the Epic Game Store and get him for free right now, or you buy him from the shop. His event will roll around again eventually. It's towards the end of the year. So you could wait for that, but if you want him right away, there you go. Hold on, now I'm looking. When is... Krull is December... I think November, December. It's in Cimmeral, and Cimmeral's a ways away. I'm saying, yeah, November-ish. All right. What does the overwhelm stat on the character pages mean? Choppa, getting to your question finally. Overwhelm. If you hover over it, it tells you. The champion becomes overwhelmed when they're being attacked by 5 or more enemies at once. An overwhelmed champion takes more damage from all enemies based on the number of enemies attacking them. So basically, it's a damage mechanic. Low overwhelm signifies that they are not a tank. Also, this roll down here that doesn't show tank means they're not a tank too. But when they have a tank, they have a higher overwhelm. So it means you can tank up to 20 people before you start taking bonus damage. Some tanks have a higher number. It doesn't necessarily mean they're a better tank. For reasons. But, yeah. Are there cloud saves? I mean, yes. So if I'm playing here on my computer and then I go to a friend's house, but I log into my account through their Steam client, I can pick up playing where I left off. But there are no cross saves. You can't save and go to another platform and play. Where do I get spade potions? Out of chests, open chests. It's the best way to spend gems when you begin the game. Somebody post exclamation point GVA in chat, please. That gems visual aid will give you information on that. Is there a way to increase the UI scale behind 125 at 4K? I don't know. I've never tried. I don't have a 4K monitor. Wow. So yeah, I don't know. The UI is always going to be tiny though. So if 125 is probably the top. It's a very probably small number of people that play it on 4K. So like I just minimize. I don't even play it. Like you just saw, look, my resolution here. I'm playing at 1600 by 900 with a 75% UI. I don't know. I don't play on a 4K monitor though. Why does this event's final boss have a purple health bar? That's special for this specific boss. This is a blessing of Lolth that it's just... basically, if you hover over it, it says... damn it, I killed it too quickly. Hold on, we'll go back. Basically, it's showing you when you hover over the boss that it is a different type of health mechanic. So I hover over here, it says 20 out of 20 HP. What happens with this specific boss is that every time you kill one of its minions, the HP goes down. This is effectively a kind of form of armor. It's specifically the protection of Lolth. There are other protections of Lolth, though, that give you actual armor that is armor chunks in one of the variants. So this is just a different type of boss mechanic. And when you watch it, and if you're hovering over it, it should make sense to you what's going on. Are you going down, not when I click on her, but when I kill things. And then once it's completely gone, she gets a regular health bar, and then she dies right away. Is it more efficient to leave the game running in the background for a few hours, or would I get the same amount of gold from offline earnings? It's more efficient to have the game open than closed. It's faster. Is it wise to use more than one DPS guide? It depends on the formation you're building, but you're focusing all your buffs on one primary DPS. You should end up with one champion doing all of your damage. What other click damage color variations are there? There's just the green, the default orange, and the snowball currently. And no, I don't think there's a way to get... Oh, you might... Karmic Mad Jig may still give you the green click damage. Karmic Mad Jig. That may still give you the green click damage. Gives you green something. Is Jarlaxle a good DPS champion for beginners? Yep. I feel like he's doing the most damage right now. Yep. When you're brand new, he's at the top of the curve for damage. But that's going to change as you get more favor. How do you get the pirate costume for the Angry Turtle? Patty's Pub, you enter YAR in the 12-digit cryptex in the shop. Storyteller Mars, stop trolling me. I see your question and I'm ignoring it. Hoister Crane, who are the speed champions and how to use them? I did an entire show on that. Literally, Gaarawarr's Guide to Speed Champions. You can find it on the CNE YouTube channel. So all I'm going to tell you is that you've got champions like Deacon, you got Shandy, you got Human, you got Briv, you got Havilar. I don't know, there's probably more. There's a couple that don't really count. Minsk, if anybody tells you, even me, tells you that Minsk and Xander count, they don't really. So ignore those. But yeah, find them all in my guide on the YouTube. How do you place familiar without going into the familiars window? Press F. Press F to place familiars. It's not just for giving respect anymore. Chef, do the Electrum chests fill? I don't know what that means. Like, look for the lowest slot to fill in your collection? No, they don't. They're just random. Detroit Tigers fan, can you explain how patrons work? Sure. When you unlock them, you need to earn influence, to get perks, but also influence to unlock different levels of rewards in the shop. You also need to earn their currency to buy those rewards once you get there. You can spend the influence here, and it still counts over here because this is the max. As you notice, it says 8 EO7, but over here I'm showing less than that. That's because I've spent some, right? So basically, to earn that influence, you need to do either patron variants. So once you've completed a regular variant and then you activate a patron, that variant will be available in a much harder version for you to go try. You can also earn currency by doing challenges each week, or as the community calls them, their chores. Every Monday at noon Pacific, the chores reset and it's time to do your chores again. Yep, that's patrons in a nutshell. There's a guide for that. If you want to learn more. Gaarawarr's Guide to Patrons. If I was to spend money on this game, what would you recommend I spend it on for the most value? I think the best thing is the Founders Pack that's got the Jarlaxle skin and a familiar and a bunch of other things. That's usually the best value each year. There's a different one each event year. So I think that's probably the best one. Outside of that, I tend to get familiars. Get familiar, folks. I tend to get familiars if they're inexpensive, and I tend to look for things like this that are good GEs that I like, I know that the item is good, and new players might not know right away, but if you see people going, yeah, that's a great GE, like this one's good for Orkira, if you've got Orkira, then I'll throw like $5 here, or if I have a little more disposable income that week, I'll throw $10 at it and get a shiny as well. Is there any way to revive a dead character during combat? Not really, no. Just go back and then like go back a level and then move forward again. They come back to life. There are a couple characters that have resurrection effects, but as a new player, you're not going to have those. That's like Strix and Baloth and Orkira have a kind of a, well, Orkira's is more of a protection effect. So Strix and Baloth have like a resurrection effect, but once they're officially dead, like if they show up as dead, then that means that effect already triggered and can't happen again. Are there any permanent death effects on the characters? Not generally speaking. There is a variant in Tomb of Annihilation where if your characters die, you can't use them again for the rest of the variant. So you got to be very hands-on for that one. When I use Zorbu and farm his enemies, the numbers don't seem to carry over for the next mission I run. Is there an issue with it? They absolutely do. They absolutely do. I know this because if I go look at my Zorbu, he's got EO4 to EO5, or EO7, EO6, EO5, EO7 kills. I mean, they're definitely, they should be carrying over. If they're not for you for some reason, submit a ticket. In general, folks, here's my best piece of advice. If you're doing something in the game and you're reading something and it's not working the way you think it's intended, and you like that, if your Zorbu's kills aren't sticking around and you think they should be, submit a ticket. I know Sean's going to hate me for that, but that's how we find bugs, and that's how we get bugs fixed. Asking people, I mean, you don't necessarily have to verify that it's a bug if with the community before you submit it. Where am I at? 89. Mantis, is there an easy way to tell which champions don't have their second feat slot unlocked yet? Not without clicking on all of them, no. Gaming Louise, can you abandon an adventure so you can do the running? Yeah, absolutely. You just close it out and then go start a running one. How do you unlock new heroes? Events. Solanove. You do events like the one right now that's going on. The running events offer 3 champions every event. As a new player, that means every event that happens, every 3 weeks, you're going to get 3 champions. Also, time gates. A natural time gate opens every 3 weeks as well, during the down week between events. And you can also do manual time gates once you earn enough time gate pieces. How do you have so many tokens? I open lots of bounty contracts. Bounty contracts give rewards based off time, and tokens are event tokens are a time-based drop. So bounty contracts can give you event currency when an event is active. That's a lot of people will save up their bounty contracts specifically for when events are going on. Squifflect, what are red gems for? Red gems are specifically for Black Viper. Black Viper has a mechanic where she collects red gems off of bosses. Like a boss, if Red Viper is in that ability is active, bosses will have a chance to drop an additional gem that is red, and as she collects them, it buffs her. How do you get the free DLC on Epic Games? You download the Idle Champions client on Epic Games and you play it. And a little pop-up comes up. I know that for a fact because I did it yesterday. Fergal, would you recommend to do running variants as a new player after unlocking all 3 heroes, or should continue to push unlock blessings in the main campaign? Always focus on the event. That doesn't mean you jump into a variant right away. Don't do a variant unless it shows as green or easy. If it doesn't show as green or easy, you just need to do free plays and push hard to your wall and extend your wall and reset and do it again until they show as green. What is the end game? End game content currently is probably patron Zariel stuff. Zariel is our newest patron and thus has the highest levels that you have to get to complete their variants. Strahd is probably the beginning of the end game, and Zariel is the current end of the end game. So basically, the patron system is basically the start of the middle game and then the current end game. I lost my place. What do I got? I got 11 minutes. Yeah, I'm not bad. Not bad. Lil Paisley, how do time gate pieces drop? I only have one so far. They drop off bosses automatically. And it's once you have one, once it drops off a boss, there's a lockout timer for 5 days. It won't drop again for 5 days. Once the timer runs out, as long as you're killing bosses, you'll get it right away. So you get one every 5 days. How are you automatically killing the crows, mice, bugs that run across? Tanuki Green, when you have, again, 6 of the familiars on the screen, it automatically kills distractions for you. When you reset favor, do you lose any? Absolutely. So if you come over here to blessings, and you decide you screwed up, and you hit reset blessings, you lose a percentage. There's a cost for making big mistakes. That's why I always tell you, leave your warnings enabled, and don't buy a blessing if the pop-up comes up. Then you never have to worry about resetting. Are there exceptions to that rule? Absolutely. But if you got to ask me that question, you're not ready for that. Do item levels cap? Lunarid, only in certain instances. Generally speaking, the slot 6 cooldown reduction item will cap. If it's shiny, it caps at like 252, something like that. And if it's golden, it's going to still cap at 252. If it's normal, it's going to cap at like over 500 or something. Basically, what you're looking at is the base cooldown of the ultimate reduced by 75%. That's what you're trying to get to, because that's the max it can get to. Like right in here, my Bruno starts at 60 seconds. He's now at 15 seconds because his ones is maxed. Are there exceptions to that? Yes. Is there a reason to buy silver chest early on? Yeah, you want that gear. Get that gear. Get that loot. Go buy them. You can get 10 of those for every gold. So you buy those until you're in all greens. That at least gives you gear across all of your champions. Some kind of gear, which is better than none. And then once you have all greens, then you switch over to golds. JP507, is there a way for me to skip dialogues? Yeah, in settings, down here, cinematic speed instant. When you're starting, I want the game to be more of an idle game rather than active playing. When you're brand new, it's going to be somewhat active because A, you don't have familiars, B, you don't really have a lot of power. As you get further and further, as you can see, I'm almost hands off here, it becomes more and more idle. What's a good overall item level total to shoot for before trying to split the party? I wouldn't worry about item levels. I'd just worry about gear. You want everything for your first split the party. Everything should be for your core and evergreens, at least in blues, I would think. Item level isn't something that I would factor in there. Where do you find the Mimic familiar? The gift wrap Mimic was a year 1 anniversary reward. You can now find it in the wild offer system. So every now and then a pop-up box will come up here, like we saw for the weekend things. It'll say wild offer. It'll have a timer ticking down. It offers things that are no longer available in the store. What is your hero with the most DPS on the team? That depends on the team that I'm running. Right now it's Jarlaxle, but it's going to depend on my formation and who I'm using. It's possible to increase the speed in the game. Yeah, speed champions and then potions. As you open up chests, you'll get potions. There are 4 that affect speed, but the speed caps at 10 times the speed. I'm not using any right now because I'm not in a hurry, other than with my questions. How's Bliss? What happens when the year 1 champions go away? Are they just removed from the store but still available through time gates, or removed from the game completely? I don't know if they're removed from the store. I have no way to know that because I own them all. But all champions will always be available through time gates. They're just no longer available in the event. And that goes for all year 1 champions and most of the year 2 champions whose events have already come and gone. Lurker Frag, Shaka seems very disruptive for standard formations, probably the design, but any suggestions for us newer players feel like it'd be better to leave him out? Shaka's, like a lot of champions, is going to be situational usage. I find Shaka's, we'll go more into Shaka tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow is going to be 9 a.m. Pacifically, Gaarawarr's Guide to the Running. So I'll go over all the champions in this event and the event in general and how to do more in depth into the event and how to do it. Shaka is going to be a situational usage for a full party shield. There are a lot of variants where you're going to take damage either from bosses or from the variant mechanics that's going to damage everyone in the party, and having shielders is the best way to get around that. Previously, we could only use Calliope for that, but now, and then you had to skip Briv's full party heals, but now you can use Shaka and Briv together and get both shields and full party heals, which I think is pretty fantastic. You said event champions scale differently. Can you elaborate on that? It's just that some of them, because you get less gear and usually less item levels, fewer item levels, generally speaking, they're a little stronger out of the gate. because they're not getting as many item levels in general. Now, Electrum chests have arrived, so that's going to help, but generally speaking, they're really strong even when they... Like, usually my viability level for an event champion is like blues, right? But then once you get them into purples and then high item levels, it's like they just go bonkers. Which slot is Hitch in? Slot is in the slot with Delana. That's right here. Hitch. What is that? That's slot 8. So get to slot 8 and swap out your Delana with the Swippy Swap button. What does Gold Find buff damage? Why does Gold Find buff damage? Gold Find buffs damage because you use your gold to buy upgrades for your champions. So as a newer player, that's the biggest way to kind of buff your damage. When it comes to specifically, this was specifically in relation to like Jarlaxle and Krull. They come with a option in their specialization to either buff, like Jarlaxle's either buffs his damage by 100% or it buffs his gold find by 100%. The gold find 100% is more of a boost to his damage than the damage boost specifically, because you can use that gold to buff, not only upgrade him, but to also upgrade all your other champions and thus get a overall larger bonus. It isn't the same you don't want to run a full party of gold find people because then you're not getting other buffs. But when you're certain champions, it makes sense that choosing their gold find spec is going to buff them more than choosing their damage spec. What do I got? 4 minutes. You could be... No, I'm not going to do that. Nindar, little pick. Shaka's buff often has a male-female slot. Is there an easy way to tell which champions are male-female besides simply knowing? Yeah, you just click on their thing and it says... oh. Do we not have in there? Oh, it's on... is it on their champion spotlight? Wow. I guess you just know. Now I've got to go check. Hold on. I'm checking a champion spotlight. Yeah, it's in the champion spotlight. So every time they release a new event champion, champion spotlight comes out, and they always tell you what the gender is. And then you just kind of know from there. Sorry, I totally thought it was in here, and it's not. It's on the champ spotlight. There's currently only one non-binary champion. If I'm wrong, chat will correct me, but Warden currently is neither male nor female, but everybody else is either male or female. Although I would argue that Human is both male and female, but they didn't make that delineation. Is there ever a time Delana can be a good main DPS? Sure. There are certain variants where you're not allowed to use other champions, and Delana is your DPS. Either Delana or like say a Jarlaxle or something, and she can do a very adequate job. She just isn't top DPS, and for new players, it's better to have Hitch as a swap and to use Jarlaxle or Ashara as your DPS than to try to use Delana, because you're wasting usually a champion slot in your formation. What's putting familiars and champions do is it levels them up automatically, so I don't have to do it myself. Humor injection. Will there be another Bardic Inspiration volume? I have not heard any confirmation one way or the other. What I do know is that if it sells a lot of copies, as is the case with lots of albums, then there will be a second one. Do I know if they've sold that many? Probably not. Probably not. Chad is correcting me. That's fine. I don't think Human counts as both, but I don't know. Let's go look. It's not going to tell me unless I bring something in. But there's 2 males and a female here, but I don't know that it counts as both. I mean, chat can try to correct me, but only correct me if I'm actually wrong. Sometimes people have different opinions, and that doesn't mean I'm wrong. Only when it's facts, folks. When we're talking about facts or science, sure. But things like, is there ever a time Delana can be a good main DPS? Is just an opinion. How to get Catty Bree? She's an event champion, so you either... no, now she's a time gate champion, I think. So run a time gate for her. I just started. At what point should I be swapping from Jarlaxle to Hitch for main DPS? Test it when you get to your wall. After when you're at your wall, swap their positions and see if Hitch is doing more damage. If he is, then at that point in your run, you can start swapping over. But sometimes you'll still start off with Jarlaxle and then switch to Hitch later. Don't add any more questions. I'm going to try to get through these real quick. Sorry, Mars. I swear I'm going to go fast. Sign up for the newsletter, but still did not get it. hitch. There's probably lots of people signing up for the newsletter, so give it a second. If it doesn't show up within the next day or two, submit a ticket. Did you mind explaining the alignment of a champion because it's a bit tricky? Example, Archon is neutral evil, and you can choose a neutral spec on Averin. He doesn't get any mirror image. There's two different kinds of neutral, so it depends on which axis of the alignment is. There's a good neutral evil, and there's a lawful neutral chaotic. So if what he's looking for is the good neutral evil, which I believe is what Averin's mirror image is, but he's neutral in the lawful in the lawful and chaotic, then it's not going to work. So you have to understand D&D there. There's two different types of neutral. For the events, is it better to do the different missions at the minimum or staying in one and trying to get to the highest level? In a free play, you push as far as you can go to get as much favor as you can. In the variant, you just complete it and bail. How do you get item levels? Open chests and get duplicate items. As a new player, should I use on my contracts right now at this running event? Just click on all of them right now. I mean, I would, because you want to do as many free plays and stuff as possible during the event to get as much gear as possible. Is there a feature or bug that you can currently change hero specs by swapping them into a different adventuring party? Neither. I think it's an unintended thing that they just didn't decide if they wanted to make a call on or not. Before the stream ends, can you try to sing along to Moneylender Mert? No. Show us your campaign blessings. I have all of them. I've got them. This is the max at the bottom of all of them. So there you go, folks. That's it. We did a new record. Well, no, this is 2 hours, so it's not a new record, but it's probably a new record for one stream. 125 questions. But yeah, it was 93 in an hour yesterday. I don't think we're ever breaking that one. I will be back. I am tag teaming out, and Mars, the Grim to my Beetle. Let's get Beetle and Grim in here. Why do I never remember? Hold on. Why can I never remember which one's which? I think, yeah, that's Beetle. Okay. Mars is the Grim to my Beetle. That's the way it works. Because I'm a dwarf. He can just handle being the human. I'm going to tag out. He's going to tag in. Mars' Guiding Hand is up next. He will be streaming for 2 hours. I am going to go eat dinner and relax my voice, which, as you can hear, is already toast. But I will be back to tag in with the highest of fives in 2 hours, and we will do more of Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything, hashtag GG2E. Thanks for hanging out. Let me mute this music because you know we're going out with some more bardic inspiration from the originals. And this is the song we started the show on. This is a song for Celeste. I believe it's called Celeste, Choleric of Selune? Psycho Alice, I did answer your question if you want to go back and listen to the VOD. It was a long, long time ago, probably. I do remember your name coming up. All right, I'm out, everybody. I will see you all soon.
We're gonna turn the undead. Yeah, you heard what I said. We're gonna put them to bed. Rain strike on their heads. The ground we tread, turning red, we keep pushing ahead. The goddess of the moon, eh? Yeah, she goes by Selune. Gonna fight all the ghoulies while the bards play their tune, eh? And if you squeal, I'll drop the heel and get you back in the field. Well, I'm just out here trying my best, but my team forgot that I need a long rest. How to keep them from dying if anyone's guess. Will we ever finish this quest? Oh, yeah. In the jewel of the north, the ninjas are making for. Zombies attacking in force. I'm out of mana, of course. We'll have to smite to end the fight, but we'll sleep soundly tonight. Dracolich flying in. How are we gonna win? We don't know where to begin. Things are looking so grim. You'll have to deal. I climb out the hills, goddess, please take the wheel. Well, I'm just out here trying my best, but my team folk got that I need a long rest. How to keep them from dying if anyone's guess. Will we ever finish this quest? Oh, well. Yeah, dying. No time to cry. Real, it's life. We'll get you back in the fight. Well, I'm just out here trying my best. But we need for a guy that I need a long rest. How to keep them from dying if anyone's guess. Will we ever finish this quest? I don't know.